Hi guys, here we are again. We're going to talk a little bit today about online module 6, which is EDLP versus high-low pricing. There has been an enormous amount of research on these two topics over the years, and like we talked about in class and like we'll talk about more in class, is the EDLP versus high-low pricing can have huge effects on a retailer's success. So an example would be Target, and there's a couple of articles that you'll read about Target insofar that Target has not been able to decide what pricing strategy is good for it. So, just to refresh, high-low is where a retailer will sell its merchandise at regular list prices or MSRP, manufacturer's suggested retail price, and then periodically mark those prices down with sales and things like that. So if you think about, a furniture store, almost always furniture stores are going to be high-low. And you'll see sales, 70 to 90% off on certain furniture pieces. And that works for a lot of retailers. Even retailers in the same type of business, you'll have some which are EDLP and some which are high-low. And again, going back to Target and Walmart, for example, both are, quote, discounters, unquote. And for many years, Target chose to play the high-low game where they would have regular prices and kind of run sales a lot. Walmart, on the other hand, was primarily EDLP. In fact, that's part of its core value proposition, and that its everyday low prices is really what Walmart is about. So they would have prices which would be priced competitively compared to high-low. Normally, when you see prices and compare products that are sold under high-low versus EDLP, normally the high-low sale prices, that would be the low part of the equation, in fact tend to be lower than the EDLP, okay? But EDLP prices will always be lower than the high of the high-low pricing. So it's not that EDLP is always the lowest prices in the marketplace, is that it's their low prices, not lowest. So Walmart, again, one of Walmart's value propositions has been for many years, and this is the promise that Walmart has made, is we will sell prices that are low and very competitive in the marketplace, but not necessarily the lowest. In fact, they got into trouble a number of years ago when their tagline was always the lowest prices, and they got sued, and they were, in fact, it was shown that Walmart, in fact, did not always have the lowest prices. So they changed their tagline to a number of years back. They changed it to always low prices, and now it's save money, live better. Okay, so Target, again, looking at Target, and again, there's a couple of articles that you'll read as part of this module. Target has historically been, a long time ago, they were EDLP and tried to compete directly against Walmart, and then got away from that and moved to a high-low, ran many sales, and Target has been high-low up until as recently as last year, and now they're moving toward an EDLP strategy. So it's going to be, there's a lot of people that are watching Target very closely to see if the EDLP strategy will work. A couple of thoughts about Target versus Walmart. And when you look at a high-low strategy, and again, we'll talk more about this when we talk about pricing strategy in the pricing module. High-low pricing strategies oftentimes can tend to be more profitable for the retailer. Okay, and if you look at JCPenney, all right, JCPenney lived and breathed high-low pricing until the moron Ron Johnson came in and wrecked it and moved it to EDLP virtually overnight. So high-low pricing historically has been more profitable for retailers. And there are groups of customers out there that really like high-low pricing. I mean, they know that there's a game being played, but they willingly play along. And it's kind of the thrill of the chase, so to speak, that drives a large segment of shopping behavior in the marketplace. And that's what high-low caters to. And if you think about it, particularly in industries where there can be There can be new products being rolled out all the time or new fashions being rolled out all the time. High-low is the way to go, because what will happen is when you get a new fashion that comes out, or a new TV, let's say, that's rolled out with a new technology, and you'll have it almost always will be sold on the floor or online at an initially high price. And then what's going to happen is there will be people that come and buy that product at that high price, and the retailer makes a ton of money off of those people. When sales begin to slow, the retailer will mark that price down and tap into another segment that's a little more price sensitive, and then they'll come in and buy. And again, the retailer's making a lot of money off those sales, and keep laddering down, okay, tapping into different segments of the marketplace. And by doing so, retailers oftentimes will maximize the profits that they can take from the sale of that item. Whereas with an EDLP, okay, and if you start the price low, you're going to tap into a large marketplace. But the problem is EDLP prices also cut into retailers' profits. So what one of the studies in one of the articles has shown is, unless you have people that come in and are large basket shoppers, that is, they tend to come in and buy a lot of stuff, EDLP wouldn't make a lot of sense. So Walmart lives off of the large basket shopper, and that's why its EDLP strategy has worked, is because they make up for the margin losses, okay, in terms of a lower price with volume. All right, and there's a number of studies that have shown that EDLP strategies are very hard to implement and very hard to make money on. The other thing with EDLP is, from a psychology perspective, an EDLP strategy is a promise to customers. And that promise is basically, look, we have very competitive prices. You can fact check us if you want, but our prices are going to be really low. Trust us. And there's been a number of car dealerships over the years, that have tried to do that and not been very successful. CarMax is a little bit of a different breed of car dealer, and it has been successful because it started out with the promise that, look, our prices are going to be fair, they're going to be competitive, we're not going to rip you off. So moving from a high-low pricing like you would have with a car dealership or used cars to an EDLP, which is basically making the promise that, trust us, our prices are good, is a very, very hard thing to do for retailers, because people oftentimes will not trust you. One of the reasons JCPenney ran into so many problems was that its customer base really, really liked the thrill of the chase, really liked hunting for bargains and sales. And when JCPenney switched over to high-low, the thrill was gone. And I'm sorry, when they switched over to EDLP, the thrill was gone, and they lost a massive amount of customers who probably will never come back. So there's always advantages and disadvantages to EDLP and high-low. And the purpose of this module is for you to explore within the context of your retailer that you're studying for the semester, as well as some reasonable competitors and Amazon. And so the project is really designed to kind of give you some field experience in terms of looking at prices and how retailers price their products. And there's always, when we say EDLP and high-low, it really is a continuum. It's not so much an on-off kind of a thing. That is, a retailer can have a hybrid strategy where many of its product categories will be EDLP and some will be high-low, or retailers will play kind of EDLP. Walmart does this sometimes with their price rollbacks, where they're actually doing kind of a high-low, but not really, okay? And retailers that run high-low prices all the time oftentimes will have special buys where they come in at a very low advertised price. It's not on sale, it's a special buy, and that special buy typically would be an EDLP item. So there's always different combinations of these things as well. So the purpose of this project then is for you to read all of the articles and watch the video. I think there's a video in there about EDLP and high-low, okay, and then to fill out the Word document, EDLP versus high-low pricing, where I want you to read all of the articles in the online module 6 folder, and then identify what are some advantages and disadvantages of EDLP and high-low pricing, okay, from your perspective and from what you read in the articles. And then for the retailer that you're investigating, determine whether that retailer uses predominantly high-low versus EDLP or some hybrid therein, okay? And then I also, as part of this project, want you to look at not just high-low versus EDLP across different retailers, but also within your own retailer's product line. Are their online prices the same as their in-store prices? And how do their online prices and in-store prices compare with Amazon specifically? So you will determine if your retailer uses predominantly high-low or EDLP or some hybrid, okay, and then record your findings in the document, and then identify a small basket of products, of SKUs, okay? So Tide 64-ounce high efficiency laundry detergent may be priced at a certain level with an EDLP retailer, but may be completely different at a high-low retailer, okay? So it would be, ideally you would find some products that at an EDLP retailer that are priced at everyday low prices, and then compare those to sale prices at other retailers if you can find them. And I realize that, I don't want you to send you on a fishing expedition, but just to do a very, very brief survey of products that are priced differently, either high-low versus EDLP, and then record what you find for that small set of products across several retailers. Typically, that'll be your retailer that you're studying for the semester and maybe one or two competitors. And then do an online search to see if you can find your products that you have selected cheaper. And of course, Amazon comes to mind. And compare the prices you see on Amazon for the same product. And you have to do your best to identify that it is in fact exactly the same product to see what price discrepancies you see at Amazon versus EDLP versus high-low on sale, if you can find that. Be sure to include shipping and taxes if that's if that is included. Of course, if it's an Amazon Prime, and Amazon Prime members, of course, wouldn't pay for shipping, but they would pay for taxes. And then the final question is, consider whether your retailer should switch, okay? If your retailer currently is high-low, should they go EDLP? Or if they're EDLP, should they go high-low, okay? And think about that, all right? It's a hard question, and it really does form one of the foundations of retailer strategy in terms of success and failure. So, so happy shopping, and again, this is a team assignment, so record one document, upload it to your team folder, and of course these are things that you can include as part of your project presentation as well later in the semester. Okay, so happy shopping, and we'll see you back in class.